Back in April of 2014, former NFL star and Minnesota native Ben Utecht was filling in as co-host here on Twin Cities Live, and it was on that show that he was introduced to the LearningRx program. This is how these kind of divine intervention things happen.
Isn't this
right?
interesting? So Ben has suffered several concussions which have affected how he retains and also recalls memories. So when he heard what they were doing over at LearningRx, he decided to give the program a shot. Then we heard about that and asked if it would be okay to follow along. Lucky for us and you too, Ben said yes. So Kelly Hansen now takes us to LearningRx in Savage, where according to Ben, something miraculous happened.
Ben Utecht's NFL career spans 6 seasons, but in 2009 he took one last hit, giving him his 5th concussion and ending his football career. At 29 years old, he began to have memory problems. Now at 34, he's doing something about it.
As an athlete who spent so much time in the gym working out, your body to get it ready for playing on the field, this is the first time in my life that I've really spent time focusing on working out the brain.
In April, we were there as he began brain training at LearningRx, working with a trainer for an intensive 20 weeks.
Cones are all askew. What's next?
When I did my neurological assessment as a part of starting my LearningRx program, sure enough, the weakest area by far, really by almost 70 points, was my long-term memory.
His hope is that at the end of this session, his brain will be able to retain new memories and hopefully bring out old ones.
Blue, yellow, black, blue, red.
Here he is back in the competitive environment, one-on-one with a trainer, playing brain training games, strengthening his cognitive skills like auditory and visual processing and memory.
I'm excited to see what happens. I'm really excited to see if the results of my long-term memory problems increase, because I think that's going to bring me joy.
Fast forward 5 months.
9, 3, 13. I went into this really naive, thinking this really wasn't going to be able to do that much for me. And it's completely 180-degree change of mind.
Ben's 100-hour program at LearningRx is now complete. And looking back, it was worth every minute.
I walk out of here after every session just mentally and emotionally exhausted because of how much focus it takes to do these exercises, and to really, especially really, to focus on the areas that you're the weakest in, which for me was memory.
His abilities obviously are greater now. It's been a joy to train Ben, even from the beginning.
Ben's brain trainer, Brad Olson, worked with him day in and day out.
I can push him to whatever limits I want, and he does not stop, and he has high expectations, and he works really hard. And because of that, I think he's seen gains that he wouldn't have.
Those gains are memories.
I'm pulling out memories from when I was 3 and 4 years old, and getting compliments from from my sister and my dad, and on my memory recall.
Now he can't wait to make new memories.
The greatest fear that I've had is losing them, losing the people that I love the most, 15, 20 years from now, if this brain disease that has affected so many NFL players affects me. And to already have memory problems in my 30s, now I have hope that I'm going to be able to retain now the memories that I create now.
Wow.
All right, so Ben is here now.
Hi, Ben.
This is interesting, because a lot of people, this is at the forefront of so many conversations at kitchen tables, all the way up to New York City offices for the NFL. Everybody's talking about concussions.
Sure.
First, we want to hear what your final assessment scores are. You're going to share these with us. These are from your long-term memory, basically, testing.
Okay, remind us how it was at the beginning when you went there.
Yeah, it was the lowest of all the cognitive abilities by far. It was 17% and 12% for the delayed long term.
Wow.
And I'm happy to say that it went from the 17% to the 90th percent.
No way.
Yeah, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it
Wow.
myself. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't go into this a little skeptical. But over the course of 100 hours and 5 days a week, an hour and a half at a time, I began noticing the changes in my cognitive abilities, and like I said, began pulling out memories And
what was that like, unlocking memories from the past that you hadn't been able to find before?
You know, it was really special. It happened recently at my parents' 40th wedding anniversary, and as my mom was going through just the decades of memories, and I began pulling out things that they didn't even remember, and I met, and just getting those compliments, because really for the last 5 years, when really talking about my past, the Minnesota memories.
Yeah.
I've felt like I've been in a fog.
Well, and then you've got your girls, and you've had a 4th baby girl.
Unbelievable.
I love this. So you and Karin welcomed another baby girl, and I know that this has been, you know, a big issue for you in terms of thinking about these girls and how much in love you are with them and their lives going by every day, and that fear of not remembering their lives. And now, do you feel like this confidence as a dad?
Yeah, oh man, and those fears are a reality to me. A reality to me. You know, 87 of 91 former NFL autopsied brains show the brain disease CTE. So that is a reality for me because of playing the game I love. And so to have a program like LearningRx has really given me hope. And that's what it does. It strengthens the plasticity of the brain, the ability for our neural pathways to be used in new ways to store and recall information.
Wow, that's incredible.
So the conversations that happen at these kitchen tables, right? What would you say to a mom or to a dad who has a child who's playing a contact sport and maybe has dealt with a concussion? What would you say to them?
Well, you know, I advocate on this all the time, and really I can only answer that question from a parental perspective. And that's really, you have to educate yourself on this issue. You have to understand that it can possibly have long-term effects. And we're talking about an organ that really is the makeup of who we are. It's our identity. And so I always advocate, really as a parent, if I had a son, he wouldn't play football. It wouldn't even be an option until high school. Where his body has been given the chance to grow and become stronger, neck strength, and you're out of really what is some of the most fundamentally important stages of childhood brain development, 2 to 12 years old. So it's a hot topic, and it's tough because sports are such a, you know, it's such an ingrained system in our culture.
Yeah. Ben, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Congratulations on that other baby. We hope she's sleeping for you.
Help me.
Oh, he's in a house with so many girls. Karin, we love you. So happy for you. Hey, if you want to learn more about how LearningRx could help you or your child, call and mention Twin Cities Live for a $79 assessment. It's normally $199. And of course, a big thanks to LearningRx for sponsoring the show. See you soon, Ben.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ben.